Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you for joining me today for another card making tutorial, and we are going to be recreating this card today. This one features the Enchanted butterfly stamp set along with some other things to create a little background square and the feature butterfly there. Okay, and then this one has been done in our pinks and sort of purples. So we've got Bubble Bath, Fresh Freesia and Blackberry Bliss. Okay, so this is just a winning combination of colours in my opinion. It's just a really lovely mix of those pink and purples to come together. I think they really work so well together. Okay, so that's what we're doing today. So yeah, this is the stamp set. It has so it's kind of a reversible set, so you can actually use the back of the stamps to then create the infill if you wish. Okay, and then we've got obviously these lovely butterflies that we've used today, and the one that's sort of taken off, a nice flower, and then these little elements that can create these lovely backgrounds. Okay, so that's a super little set. I initially overlooked it, but I actually really enjoying using it. It's a couple of times I've used it now. The largest square in the stylish shapes is what I use to die cut the square panel in for the topper once you've done the stamping. Okay, so that's those. And then for the sentiment, I brought in Timeless Arrangements and its coordinating dies as well. Just so that's for this element here, and it also has these companion dies that have these little flourishes, I would say, to go with it. So that's how we've gone about constructing that today. So let me just pop those to one side. Just going to grab this die so that we've got it. Okie just popping that to one side. So as I say, this one sort of gone with sort of matchy Bubble Bath, Fresh Freesia and Blackberry Bliss, but I'm going to change it up and go with sort of a muted background with a pop of colour. So I'm going to go with Smoky Slate and Basic Grey to combine together with a pop of Poppy Parade. So that sort of grey and red kind of combo. So I'm just going to pop that to one side, and we're going to start with the background. So this piece of paper, or basic white cardstock it is, to be honest. Right, let me just find some scrap that isn't too, this will do. So what I've already done is created my centre point on here by marking this at 2 inches on each side. So it's a 4-inch square. I just wanted it to be bigger than the intended card. Okay, and we're going to start off with this stamp. Okay, to create the sort of backdrop, and we'll use the lightest colour in our combination, which is the Smoky Slate. So obviously the lines there to try and sort of centre the image. Okay, these are photopolymer stamps. So you want to do light tapping on your ink pad, and I like to sort of twist it around a bit to get different sort of areas of the stamp and make sure it's evenly spread. Okay, and you'll see it sort of, you know, coats that stamp. Okay, all right. And then the lines, then I'm going to just try and line them up with the sort of notches on the side of that design. Okay. Now forgive me if I end up a little bit squuffy on this, because ideally I want to be looking right over the top of this. So I'm going to bring it a little closer towards me, but hopefully it's still sort of in shot at the top, at the bottom of the screen there. So I'm just looking for those lines to intersect halfway across the border there, and because it's a dark ink I can't really see where the central design is, so I'm just looking at the outside and getting it roughly right. Okay. So there we go. Alright, so that's our first one in place. Okay, and now we're going to go and put another one next door. I've still got my line here to help centre through. You could if you're using grid paper like I am, you could even line up with a line down here and at the top there to try and help you extend that line across. So I'm just going to ink that back up, just as I did before, looking to meet the edge of that in the middle there and line up the bottom with that line, and we're going to go about there. Okay, it may not be absolutely perfect, and you know what, that's absolutely fine, but we'll try and get it as close as we can. Okay, and again one more at the bottom here, just hover over it until you get those images in place. Okay, and then we're going to do exactly the same thing on the other line here, so we'll just get that lined up and exactly the same. Okay, so I'll meet you back in a sec when I've filled all this background in. There we go, that's our first layer of stamping done. Okay, and now we're going to pop in our detail using our darker ink, which in this case is the basic grey. I'll just pop that smoky slate out of the way just for a moment. So our basic grey is going to be used with this little accent stamp here. I'm going to use this in a couple of ways. Okay, so first of all we're going to go over the centre here. It's a sort of a case of X marks the spot kind of thing. So we're going to pop this little detail in over the top, and again we're just hovering over those initial images. Now that one's gone a bit wonky, but obviously you've got more time to be a little bit more precise with your stamping at home, so just take your time doing that. Okay, I did look at an option to use, so the smoky slate and basic grey are cool greys. Could do this with grey granite and pebbled path, which are warmer greys for a different look. And then we're going to pop one in between these images here. Okay, so I'm just looking for that to be sort of covering between these gaps here at approximately the same point, and then that centre dot aiming for that gap in the middle there. And like I say, we'll be trimming this down, well, die cutting it actually. You could use a trimmer, I guess. What I wanted to do is just, I thought a die would help with making sure that the images were centred. But like I say, if you wanted to cut this down with a trimmer, you could. Theoretically, it's all nice and straight with because we started from the centre there, but nothing's that accurate when you're hand stamping. Okay, so this is our background that we've got. Isn't that lovely? Really like it. Completely different look to the other one. And now I'm just going to use a white eraser just to rub away those pencil lines, just in case you were concerned about that. It does come off just fine. Probably should have done it before adding the second layer though. Okay, let's get rid of the eraser. Okay, but they've completely gone now. Okay, I say, just probably better to do it after your first layer rather than trying to go through two. Okay, so we'll pop that away for the moment, and we can bring in our die and some low tack tape, and then we're going to just eyeball this and make sure that we've got it central. So it just nicks the ends of those little eyelets on those cross sections there. So we'll just tape that in place, and that's ready to die cut. So I'm just going to pop that onto my Stampin' Cut and Emboss plate, so it's ready to go in a minute. But there's some other die cutting we want to do, and we may as well try and do it all together. So our sentiment and our little sort of embellishment detail from the timeless arrangements. So our sentiment's going to be in our accent colour, which in this case is the Poppy Parade. So it's going to ink that up and pop that onto that piece of cardstock just there. And while we've got the ink pad out, we can stamp the butterfly, which we will be fussy cutting. There are no dies to coordinate with this. And then I'm just going to get those cleaned off straight away. Just to get that red ink off, like so. Okay, we'll firstly cut that guy in a minute, and we'll just have another piece of tape to secure this little guy around this sentiment here. So again, just looking for that to be the same at the top of the T, the bottom of the Y, and then to the right of the U and the left of the T, just like that. That one doesn't matter, so we'll just pop that through. As long as it doesn't move around on the thing, it's fine. So those can all go through together, so we'll just pop that through the die cut machine right now, and then that's all done. Square, in fact all of them actually, are sort of on the wonk, if you like. They go in sort of, especially the larger square. If I just lift this out, just to show you, it went in like this, so that the corner of the die went in first rather than the flat side, and it just makes it all go through the machine a lot more easily. Okay, so we'll take away that very well used cutting plate. Now you do have, if you pre-cut your square, you do end up with a nice frame as well that you could use on another project. This is the bit that we are interested in. We've got our little sentiment here, and then we've got a little flourishy bit. Let's put those to one side just for a moment. So our flourishy bit, we want to, we may be colouring in, but I'm not going to decide whether we're going to do that until I've seen it on the card. Put that to one side, and then we're just going to use our paper snips to whiz around this butterfly. Do a little bit of fussy cutting. Like I say, there are no coordinating dies for this set, but it isn't too terrible to cut out. I've used the butterfly a couple of times and it's not too bad, and there's no antennae to try and get around either. So whether that was intentional. Oop. That's gone a little bit wonky, but don't worry, I'm not going to worry about it. Just moving the card and gently squeezing the scissor blade rather than twizzling my wrist around. Okay. There we go. do all that, round and around. Don't forget to check by on later in the week as well, because our new mini catalogue will be available to view, and link to the catalogues page is on my website. So if you go to inkybutterfly.com, there's a button at the bottom of every post which directs you to the shop, to the online viewer catalogue page. You can shop there. The actual links to the specific products I've used are going to be linked directly, so it will just take you straight to the page where they are. On the blog as well, though, you've also got links to join Stampin' Up if you want. Starter kit is £99, and I just whizzed around that with the Poppy Parade Stampin' White marker, just to take away the white background. Coming back to that in a second. And with the this is the Smoky Slate. This happens to be the blend. You can do it with the Stampin' White marker if you want. Just going to whiz around the edge of that as well. Yeah, so starter kit is £99, and then you get to choose. Sorry about that. Hope realised the camera had stopped. So I've just been adding some blender pen to this butterfly, which just takes off the stark white of the cardstock. Okay, so that will just make that pop a little better, in my opinion anyway. You don't have to do that, it's just a little optional extra that you can do. Okay, and I've also just coloured the core of that with the you can either use a Stampin' White marker or a stamping blend, and if you just kind of hold it and go around the edge there, it just takes away that white edge. Okay, so we've got our little background square, we've got our butterfly, we've got our sentiments. Okay, the next thing is we need to layer this up. Well, I think we need to layer this up. So I've cut some cardstock that's a little bit bigger. How much did this end up being? Is this this is 3 inches square. And rather than cutting into a brand new piece of cardstock, I'm going to kind of create my own fake coloured cardstock by just using a stamping blend. Now I think you get better results with the blend because the lines won't show in the corners and stuff, and it won't go all streaky. You can do it with the Stampin' White markers if that's what you've got, or you can use your ink pads, but you'd have to be a little bit careful with it. You don't want to damage the foam on your ink pads. And I'm just doing that on both sides to make sure I've got a nice sort of the ink sort of soaks through and covers that edge and makes it really, really nice. It'll look blotchy until it dries, but once it dries it will really, really pop there. Okay, now I did cut a smaller layer as well, which is 2 7/8 of an inch, just to see whether I need that to pop a little bit, and I think I do. Yeah, okay, so there's going to be a little sandwich, little teeny tiny white layer. In between there, so I'm actually going to use, I've been using a lot of wet glue recently. Use a bit of that because it's just going to give us a little bit of wriggle room when we're dealing with something that's got a very narrow border. So it just gives us the opportunity just to slide that about a bit and just make sure all those sides are even. with this one. You don't need a lot. Super strong. So the glue containers will last a really long time. It's possibly a more economical option than the tape runners. It's just personal preference, entirely personal preference. Okay, so this is our topper, and we're just going to pop that onto a white card base. So I want the impact of the bright white to come through. Just get a bone folder and just cut, burnish that score line there. Okay, and again we'll just pop some wet glue on the back of that, which will give us the opportunity to just make sure that's exactly where we want it to be. So, trying to make sure that that's nice and square on the card base there. Okay, so that's the basis of our cards so far. And now I just want to decide whether I need to add any colour to these leaves. So on the original, I actually added some of the lightest colour to those. Okay, but I'm actually tempted maybe even to bring in the Poppy Parade actually, just to give it that bit of impact. So again, we'll just use our scrap paper and we'll use the Stampin' Blend to give that a colour. So again, with the colouring of cardstock, I mean, if you've got the scraps, cut it in the scraps, it's fine, no problem. But equally you could colour a section of the basic white cardstock before you die cut it, so you don't have to deal with these little fussy little bits. And just to be sure we don't get anything we don't miss anything, I'm just going to do the whole lot. Don't really have to, I don't think, but it's done. Okay, so they are quite delicate, these little frondly things, so just bear that in mind. And while I've got that on the paper there, I'm going to put a line of glue across that and then bring in the sentiment and just adhere that over the top. Okay, and then that just sort of secures at the back there. Okay, we can just leave that, we can, well, pop that on with dimensional or two. Fits those just perfectly. Okay, and then we've got our little butterfly that we can use a bone folder or something. Oh, I've just done that the wrong way, haven't I? To shape the wings like that. Okay, or use a sponge mat if pressing into your hands is painful. And again, a blob of the multi-purpose glue is going to give us the opportunity to be able to position this exactly where we want it to be. So again, just being a little bit delicate with it. Okay, so I want it to be hanging off the edges, but inside the detail there. Because I don't want to cover up all this stamping that we've just taken loads of time to create. Okay, and then this guy is going to be just in there. Again, not wanting to cover up too much of the stamping, so he'll be fluttering off there. And again, you want to press that centre with your bone folder a little bit just to make sure he's down. And then the final little thing will be our little rhinestones, okay, which I like to add. On this particular design with the grey background, they don't pop immediately like they do on the original one, but they're lovely for the recipient to see when they open it up. Okay, so that is it. Sorry about the little intermission in the middle. So completely different way of approaching this. Really love this one, and that sort of tone on tone kind of look. And if you wanted to go out there and do something different, this is another option for you. But again, like I say, I just want to give you an idea of how you can create similar cards in different colourways, as always. Okay, give you some options, because not everyone's got every colour under the sun and everything. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to pop by and have a look in the links within the description, so that they'll take you directly to the items listed, or you can just pop along to my website inkybutterfly.com and have a look on there, have a browse around, check out what's going on. The new mini catalogue is out later this week, so you'll start seeing some new products in use from that. So that'll be sort of Christmas, Halloween, and a few other things in between. And if you are interested in joining Stampin' Up, there is the join button that you can press that will take you straight to that page, and you can have a look at that offer too. By far the best value product in the catalogue, £99, and then you can select a whole heap of items for your starter kit. That's totally up to you. No one prescribes what you get. You can choose exactly what you want. So yeah, give it a go. That's it from me for today. Hope you're staying safe. Take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.